in college football are those that have the ability to make plays every time they touch the ball. The same theory holds true for video game football. We put the control in your hands so your playing skills can determine your success or failure. The easiest and most commonly used move is the sprint. To sprint with the ball, press and hold down the X button. When you do this, your player will try to run at his maximum speed. Check this out. This player is running at his normal speed. Now let's see what happens when the sprint button is held down. The player runs much faster and has a better chance of outrunning the defense. But be careful. You don't want to overuse it. Remember that when you're sprinting, you won't be able to cut and turn as sharply. So use it wisely. Be patient, follow your blockers, find your running lane, and then turn on the jets. The sprint button can also be used as a power move. To power through a defender, simply run directly at him and press and hold the X button. This technique is most successful for the big bruisers, so it's important that you understand your player's running style. Don't try to take on a big defensive lineman with a 180-pound tailback, because you'll get pulverized. For the quicker, more agile players, you're better off using the juke move. To perform a juke to the right, press the R1 button. To juke left, press the L1 button. Now there are two types of jukes, a quick juke and a hard juke. To do a quick juke, lightly press the juke button. To do a hard juke, press the juke button more forcefully. The best time to use the juke move is when a defender is quickly approaching you. Time it right and you can juke him right out of his shoes. Another move you want to learn is the spin move. You can do a spin move by pressing the circle button. To control the direction of your spin, use the left analog stick. So if you want to spin to the left, press left on the stick and then spin. If you want to spin to the right, press right on the stick and then spin. After a spin move, you'll always be facing upfield. This can be very effective when you're caught in a pile and you need to escape. But my favorite move in the whole game is the stiff arm. You can do a stiff arm by pressing the L2 button. Let's check it out. Here the ball carrier is trying to get to the outside. He's not in a position to spin or juke, and he can't outrun the defender, so it's a perfect opportunity to use a stiff arm. Get off me, son. This stiff arm button also can be used to switch the ball hand. Here, the ball carrier gets to the corner, but he's got the ball in his inside hand. That's how a lot of fumbles occur. When you get in that situation, simply tap the L2 button, and the player will switch the ball to the outside hand. It'll also put you in a position to use the stiff arm if you need to. I love this move. Well, you know how to run through and around people, so now all you need to know is how to hurdle them. You can do a hurdle by pressing the triangle button. Hurdling is a very effective move when there is an obstacle in front of you on the ground. Also, it is a good way to avoid the ankle tackle from behind. Now, if you believe in getting the most out of every single play, then you should learn how to dive for extra yardage. You can dive with the ball by pressing the square button. There are different types of dives that you can do. There's a regular dive. This is a straight-ahead dive when you reach the ball out for a good spot. Try not to do this into a pile of players because that's just begging for a fumble. Then there's the dive for the pylon. As you're approaching the goal line in traffic, the dive over pylon can be very effective. Remember, in college football, only the ball has to cross the goal line for a touchdown. And lastly, there's the quarterback slide. To do this, tap the square button lightly and your quarterback will slide to avoid contact. While it's actually a very smart move, don't be surprised if you get called a wimp for doing it. If you like to take risks, then the lateral is definitely the right move for you. To do a lateral, simply press the R2 button, and you will pitch the ball back to the closest teammate. My only advice here is make sure you know what you're doing before you try this. While it's very risky, the lateral can also turn a small play into a huge one. Well, that's all there is to running the football. Practice each move one at a time, and eventually you'll be able to use multiple moves in a single play. That's when you can run with the big dogs.